Have you ever been in that situation where you say something and it's like word vomit and you just wish that you didn't say it and then you go home and you think about it all night and you're like, why did I say that? Because, yeah, no, I've been there. And if you've been there too, it's probably because you're like me, certified yapper. Okay. I get paid to yap now. It's my full time job. But that doesn't mean that I want that to be the case all the time. That doesn't mean that when I need to, I don't know how to turn on the mystery and the charm and the allure and the poiseness of being able to control my tongue. And so, if you want to have that ability as well to be able to still be yourself, but to, in certain circumstances, have that quiet confidence, that allure, that mystery for strategic, even business purposes, but even for dating purposes, there are so many reasons to be able to turn off that bit of you that wants to word vomit and overshare so that you never have another embarrassing moment again and can truly captivate a room even without saying a word. So if you want to know how to do that, watch this video and you're going to understand everything you need about how to go from yapper to quiet confidence that is absolutely captivating. So the first thing we have to understand is like, why do we even over talk to begin with? Well, over talking often comes from a few things: impulsivity, fear, or insecurity. Most people talk too much, not simply because they love the sound of their voice, but because they're avoiding something deeper. If you have the fear of silence and just letting that moment sit and hang in the air, it's often because you have the need to prove yourself. And that can be one of the consequences and one of the reasons for talking so much, especially in a situation where you would rather be quiet. It's because that nervous energy that you have is leading to over talking. Signs that you struggle with this are that you might fill every silence because you think it's awkward or because you're worried that people will lose interest if you're not constantly entertaining and performing for them. Or you might over explain to make sure that people will understand, even when fewer words would probably be more effective. So, as a practical rule, pause for 3 seconds before you respond, just to make sure that you're avoiding any impulsive comments. And those 3 seconds will give you clarity. And I really encourage you to practice it, especially with friends at first. Like, and you can tell them this is something that you're trying to do because once you have that 3 second rule as a habit, then it will be like, again, come up naturally when you're in public places, even when that nervousness is there. And so practice it constantly, even when you're on the phone and you tell people you're doing it so they don't think you're weird. You can say, hey, like, I'm going to do my best to like kind of pause 3 seconds before responding. And this also does great if you do a terrible job at interrupting people. It also gives you the opportunity to make sure that you are allowing people to have fully concluded their thought before you respond. And it gives you time as well to think about, okay, do I actually want to say this or will I regret it quite literally as soon as it comes out of my mouth? Another filter test that I use that's very helpful is it helpful, is it necessary, or is it kind? And if it's not, then you don't necessarily need to say it. And that's what I had to learn is that I don't need to say everything that I think, even if it's cool, even if it's something that I feel like might like add to the conversation in some way. I try to now reserve my words for what is necessary so that way when I speak, it will be more powerful because the person who's talking all the time, it can start to just sound like noise versus you notice people who speak strategically, they often end up having the room go quiet for them because people are so interested in what they say. And then that also leads me into the kind of feminine art of mystery and how you can speak less and still say more than you would be able to if you were babbling. That quiet confidence and intrigue, it really elevates your presence. And have you ever noticed the fact that most of the time, the most captivating woman in the room is not the loudest one? There is so much power in speaking less, but still being able to say more. And it is a skill that you can master. Oversharing largely dilutes your power, again, because it's like currency. It's like the more money that we print, then the less worth that the US dollar has. In the same way, the more your mouth is printing words, then the less value people will perceive your words to have. And being selective with your words can make people listen more attentively. And it shows them that when you speak, it matters because you're choosing to only speak when you have something that you really think would be important to say. And let me ask you this, you have regretted plenty of times things that you've said, but I'm sure you probably can't count a time where you have regretted things that you have not said. So when you think about that thing that you just think would be really great to add to the conversation, try to remind yourself of that thought and say, how much would I regret not saying this? And if you can use that as a temperature check to see if you need to say it, is would I regret not sharing this right now? If the answer is no, you wouldn't regret not sharing it, then it's probably not worth sharing. Now, as for some practical ways that you can cultivate that mystery and that quiet confidence, is instead of dominating conversations, ask questions that actually make other people feel seen and valued because curiosity is captivating. And don't do this as some sort of social tactic. Just genuinely be interested in other people, genuinely be curious about them and their work and what they do and what their interests are and things that bring them joy. And also, don't feel like you have to rush. I know because, again, this is something I struggled with as well. Whenever I'm nervous or meeting different people, I can feel the need to speak very quickly, which I do very naturally anyway, but it goes like double time when I get nervous. And so I remind myself, like, I'm not rushing. Take a breath. It's okay to have some space in between your words, and you don't have to rush to fill every silence. Pauses can add weight to your words and can let others have time to reflect on what you said. Do not feel like you are the entertainer. Do not feel like if you don't say anything, nobody else will. If no one says anything, that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And allow yourself to be okay with just being quiet within your thoughts to be able to find solace in silence. And if you have a problem with this, I'm imagining that you are not a person who takes silence well. And again, because I'm speaking from experience, I literally sleep to movies because I often don't like to be in my head. I have something playing when I'm in the shower, when I'm in the gym. And I just realized there were very few moments where I was actually in a complete silence, which is so crazy because in throughout most of history, we had so many moments of just silence. And so I intentionally now try to incorporate some of that in my day where if I'm gonna go get my nails done, it's a 10-minute drive to the nail shop, I would just sit in the car, no music, no anything, just to get myself more comfortable with silence. And I actually learned that the world did not end when I didn't jump in every single time that there was a silence or a pause. And I really want you to reflect and ask yourself as well, like, why do you feel like you need to come in? Like, why do you feel like you need to do that? Do you have this expectation of yourself that no one else is putting on you to be the entertainer or to be the person who comes up with the things to talk about? It's okay for you to sit back and to have the value be in your presence, not necessarily in what you're saying. Now, another deeper level that I really haven't seen anybody else address is that your words are a mirror of your heart. And controlling your tongue at its core starts with an inner transformation because, like we talked about in the beginning, most of the reasons why we overshare are because of internal things like nervousness and insecurity, and need to be seen, and like all of these things that can make that up. Luke 6:45 says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you struggle with over talking, the problem isn't just your words. It's what's driving them. When you're insecure, you speak to prove yourself. When you are confident, especially in the Lord, you speak with purpose. And as your tongue reflects what is inside, if your heart is full of peace, then your words will be too. If your heart is full of fear, then your words will reveal that. And for a lot of us, that is where it's coming from. It's a place of fear, a fear that it's going to be awkward, a fear that other people aren't having a good time, a fear of what they will think about you if you're not engaging and you're not saying all these things in conversation and coming back really quickly. But when you allow yourself to rest in peace and you remove that burden from your shoulders to be the one who's constantly the flying pony, then you will find that not oversharing becomes a lot easier. And implementing this in a practical way goes back to really just reflecting before you speak, asking, why am I saying this? Does it serve a purpose? And I'm going to rewind so you can hear that again. Why am I saying this? So many times when I say something and regret it later, if I would have just stopped and asked myself that, it would have saved me so much embarrassment because when we just catch ourselves with these like filter questions, it just allows us to be able to realign. And for those of you who might say, well, I won't remember that, that's the point of actually practicing these things with people who are close to you, that you can be intentional about using them, and making sure that you are not oversharing and that you're really being in a place of peace again with silence. And pray for wisdom. Say, Lord, help me to speak words that build up and not tear down. Help me to not feel the need to validate or prove myself to people, and to be okay that I have inherent value because I am your child and I am with you and you are in me. Now, as amazing as quiet confidence can be, it was honestly one of the very small things that led to me being able to be the woman that has the marriage of my dreams, that is able to be on a weight loss journey, having lost over 30 pounds, have a seven-figure business, and thrive in every area of my life. And that's why I created the free training, Three Secrets to Thrive in Every Area of Your Life, because so many women are saying, how do I become the type of woman that can set a goal and hit every single goal that I set? And that's exactly what I explained in that training, and give you some practical insights into the things that you could be missing that could be the only difference between where you are and where you want to be. And if you're not subscribed yet, to stick around for the Tis Your Season December special that I'm doing, where I am literally posting a video every day in December to make sure that you walk into the new year your best yet. Then make sure you subscribe, because tomorrow I'm going to be going into how to create a life you love, even if you feel lost and stuck right now. And the method that I'm going to show you is exactly what I teach my paid clients inside of my course, The Art of Becoming Her. So you're not going to want to miss it. I'll see you there.